Hey, this is PJ with CLK Supplies, and I have a extra special guest today. One I happen to talk a lot about when I've talked about my history in locksmithing, and someone that I also happen to share the same name as, and that's my dad, Pete. Dad, thanks for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know, I think this is your first ever debut on any filming with me. How does it feel?
Okay.
Perfect. Well, you know, I really wanted to bring you on today and have you talk about creative marketing. You know, it's something that I've seen you do my entire life with your locksmithing business. But I just wanted to rewind for a second and really kind of let you talk about how long you've been locksmithing and what your business looks like today as far as your how many locations and people you have working for you.
Okay, I've been locksmithing for 40 years. Started out of the back of a little Pinto runabout. And one-man mobile unit, then, got my first shop. And then, we have 3 stores, hopefully 4 here shortly. And we got about 19 locksmiths working for us, and
yeah, okay, well, yeah, so when it comes to creative marketing, I think it's something that you've done real uniquely in the locksmithing space. I really haven't seen it replicated anywhere, and it's something that's really allowed you to dominate the markets that you've served in, right? And so I really want to ask you some questions about it, but before I do, I should say, right, that if you're within, a 50, 75-mile radius of one of his stores, then I'm going to have to ask you to turn the video off right now, right?
Come on now.
No, I'm joking. But, so when it comes to creative marketing, let's just start simple of the stuff that you've done, and then let's kind of build up over the years of the stuff kind of that you're doing now. So what's the most basic, simplest thing that someone, as far as marketing their locksmithing business, you believe should be doing?
Well, the first thing is I would be getting a custom-made stamp with your name on it, at least your name. If there's room for a phone number, I'd put that, and stamp every key you create, and I mean every key, foreign, master padlocks, every key, because that's a form of advertising. Okay. And you're doing that with like the dual stamper. It's kind of like semi-automatic. You put the key in, you hit it. Yes.
Now, I mean, I of course grew up. At age 6, you had me stamping those keys, right? I mean, how fast was I? Would you say at 6? Was it
not very fast? But he was cheap.
Perfect. Now, so obviously, the amount of time and energy that you have someone who works for you going in and stamping keys, after all these years, you believe it's worth it.
Yes, definitely worth it, because it's the least expensive cost for advertisement. Even you're paying your guy, $18 an hour, it's still, you have slow time, so it's best to keep them occupied, keep them going, and that's what we do.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other benefits of stamping your own keys besides customers always been able to see your name and logo on their keys?
Well, years ago, people used to come and say, well, you made this key, and I said, no, we didn't make it because my name's not on it. Because there's other lock shops and other hardware stores what would say, hey, you made this key. I said, I'm sorry, you can check every key on my board. It has our name on it.
Sure.
And I don't mind replacing a key if it was miscut or not working properly, but I'm not replacing keys that we didn't create.
Sure. Okay. So a good starting level would be, just making sure you're stamping your own keys.
Yes.
Okay. Now, from there, what is something that you have done marketing-wise, kind of creative, guerrilla style marketing that you found to work really well?
Put my name on everything and anything I could.
Okay. Okay. Now, let's talk about your the free key coupons.
Yes. We go into parades or just go to events where we're invited to come, hey, why don't you set up a booth? at, a Boy Scout troop or a community event, and they just want you to be there because you're of the security industry you're in, and tell them about deadbolts and locks and whatnot, and we'd have free key coupons out. Says bring this free key coupon and you get a free house key, and we did tens of thousands of those, and you might get 1,000 back, but everybody grabs one because everybody can use a free key. And they go, well, what's the gimmick? I said, there isn't. You just bring this key in and we'll create a house key. They try to get auto keys and Y11s, and I said it's for a house only.
Okay.
And they go, great, thanks. I just want them, if you have a store, I want them to know where my stores are, so that's why I do it.
Okay, so for you, going to these events and just shaking their hand and giving them a free key coupon was a way for you to say, hey, come check out my store, I'll give you a free key, and it's your way of trying to help get people through the door.
Right. If you go to, police departments ask you, oh, we're having a watch event, neighborhood watch, and they ask if you'll go and explain and do stuff, and I said, okay. Sure.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we got stamping all your keys. We have the free key coupons. What's something else that you've done creative marketing-wise that you found helpful?
Well, I've always liked old cars. And, I bought an old 51 Ford panel van in pretty rough shape, fixed it up, put our logo on it. I go into the parades and drive it around town during summer, because in winter, of course, it's going to slide all over the place. And people go, oh man, that's a cool rig. And get a lot of comments, and they remember, oh, that's the guy with the old car. I know where he's at. And, in parades, we give out the free key coupons also.
Okay, yeah. So you're saying you found an old, and I remember this as a kid, you buying that old 51 Ford panel.
And what did you name it?
The Beast.
And it's still on there today on the little wing vent.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you bought this, and for all of you watching online, I'll get a picture popped up right now so you can see what it looks like today. So you got it, you painted it, and you've got your logo put on it, and you take it to parades. And I remember as a kid, I'd be walking around on the outskirts, handing out free key coupons to everybody. And so that's something pretty unique, right?
And car shows, they go, hey, can you drop it off at the car show? I said, sure.
Car shows, so you put in car shows, and then we also have a local event you've put it through. They call it the Carta Lane, where it's like a hot rod drive around, I guess, right? You take it through there, and it's a way for people to admire the 51. At the same time, they get to see your logo.
Logo, and I throw out T-shirts during that and free key coupons, because you're only going probably 5 miles an hour, and everybody, are car enthusiasts, and they're loving it because you don't see too many of those old vans around. Okay. Now let's talk about the racetrack. Okay. Right, that's something that you've been doing more recently, this past 5 years, something like that. Do you want to explain what you're doing at a local racetrack and what that whole thing looks like? Sometimes we sponsor cars with our name just on the car. It's called Bump to Pass. It's sort of like a demolition derby, but they don't disable them. They just bump them, and then they're able to go around them. And put your logo on there, your name, anything to get your name out. And then for time trials, they asked me to be the pace car, and so I take the 51 panel out there, and you think they're going to run you over, but they don't. And you do the laps, as the pace car for each time event. Okay. And give out the trophies. Okay, give out the trophies, so they're getting to watch as the races are starting. You're leading the way. Do you channel your inner Dale Earnhardt or Jeff Gordon while you're doing that? So you're doing that. They're announcing your name. Now, what other stuff are you doing there, at the racetrack? Yeah, at intermission time, half, before the main events, we get as many service trucks that are available, parade, go out there, stop, and we do t-shirts, and they bungee cord them out into the audience, and it's pretty fun. I mean, the guys and gals we have working, they enjoy it. They bring their families, and they just throw out that and candy, and we throw out 100 to 200 shirts every time when we do it. And Racetrack loves us when we come because it helps them draw people, so they don't charge us anything. We do it, and it draws people for them.
Okay, so it's kind of like for everyone who, so you have all your vans come, right? As many vans are available, and you have them all lined up, and you start throwing the shirts out, and they're announcing your name. And, I think it's something that, small businesses, when you support community events and functions, people really like that, right?
Yes.
I mean, and the Racetrack, they're getting, the people who came there to watch the events, they're getting to see, their attendees get some free shirts, right? And it's really a good event. At the same time, for all the people who work for you, it's like a night out, right?
Yeah, because they're loving it. They sit up in the grandstands or in the pits and look at the cars and watch the cars go around and whatnot. So that's pretty good. And then if you're able to get involved in your community when they have the Hayden Days, I sponsored the kids' games, and I wore our shirts, and they love to see you get interactive with your community, and people go, "Oh yeah, if we ever need anything, they'll use us."
Okay, yeah. So you're saying
you're giving back to the community.
So you're saying to like when the local city is putting on their like summer festival type of thing, to just volunteer and just spend some time interacting with the community and helping out, being useful, that kind of stuff.
We always did the kids games because I like kids. I always have. Got you guys involved.
Yep, that is true. I've done my fair share of spin art, loading frisbees on for kids, Perfect. Well, is there any other different creative marketing things?
Well, I had a phone call where they ask you to, put your name on a golf cart bench, a bench in a golf course. And I said, oh, well, I think that's a little too costly for me right now. So instead I found a golf cart and put my name all over it and gave it to my dad, who was an avid golfer because he lived on a golf course. And that worked out fantastic because you gave him something to drive around and had my name all over it, got him golf tees with our names all over it, gave him out to all his buddies and stuff. So. Okay,
so, you kind of, what I'm hearing is that you kind of saw an opportunity, right? You're like golfing, you're like doing the bench thing is just something that I really don't want to be doing right now. But you're like, hey, my dad lives on a golf course, spends a lot of time golfing. How about I get him a cart, logo it up, which I remember it. It was red, wasn't it?
With pinstripes.
And do you have a picture of that still somewhere?
I don't know.
Well, if we do, we'll put it up with this video so you can see what that looks like.
Right.
And so it was kind of a fun, interactive way that your dad got a golf cart, you could drive around and had your logo all over it, and it was just something that was kind of just, out there, right? As you was golfing. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like over the years you've really, as being part of the different communities that you've been a part of, you really kind of just found opportunities, even though they weren't really conventional, right? I don't know how many locksmithing companies in the world have put their name on a golf cart, right? Or an old 51 Ford panel, but you found creative ways that you can interact with the community to help build your business.
Well, the one thing I did forget to mention about little advertisement is every commercial job we do put a sticker, says our company name, Country Lock and Key, a phone number, home, office, auto, 24-hour service on every commercial door we do. And that really helps, right above the cylinder or on the side of the lock. Every safe we do, it's on there too.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying that like when you go to a commercial building, like a storefront, aluminum style storefront door, your guys are putting a sticker on.
Right.
You know, a company sticker.
Right.
Now, which seems really inexpensive, right?
It is.
I mean, I know my kids, you know, when they are now, you know, going into some store, they recognize you like, hey, that's Grandpa's sticker right there, right? And now, how do the customers feel about that, though? Like, I mean, have you had people complain very much?
I've only probably had 1 or 2 people ever complain. And it takes a little bit to get them off, but we'll take them off. But most of them go, great, we love it.
And have you ever gotten calls from people that are now leasing that space and are like, hey, saw your name on the safe or on the front door, and so we called you?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of return business on that stuff. You know, that's the reason we do all this different type of marketing to get return calls. That's the reason you want your name on all the keys, because when the landlord or a new owner of a building or home turns it over, they want to get their locks changed. Oh, hey, here's the guy we're going to call.
Yeah.
So it works out very well.
Okay. Awesome. Now, thanks for coming on, but before we end, I really got to ask you, what would you say is the worst marketing mistake that you've made or spent money on that you wish you could take back?
Well, since the internet has come out, I have to say the telephone box, because you remind me of this all the time. Okay, yeah, I have backed out pretty much 100%, but I'd say I'm still 15% in the phone books, just our name.
Yeah, like it's just something that you're just having a hard time kind of letting go of, right?
I'm old school. It's hard to get going with the new stuff. Same with computers. They're great. We use tablets in the service trucks and computers in the stores. I'm still, give me a book. Let's look up the ILCO in the book. You know?
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, you know, hey, maybe we'll check in a year and see where you're at with that, right?
Yeah. You never know.
But perfect, guys. Well, hey, I really hope that this conversation here has really maybe got some ideas sparked up, some different things for doing some creative marketing in your area, something that you can not only help build up the community, but help build your business and provide a great value to the town that you live in. So I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this. Dad, thanks for hopping on here. And
thanks for having me.
You know, I was like, hey, you're going to come hop on here and talk. You're like, hey, and I'm not into the camera thing.
That's for sure.
Which the truth is, who really is, right? Who really is. But anyway, so thank you. And guys, thanks. And we will see you next time.